Hey guys, it's Mark Holthe here, Canadian immigration lawyer, ex-immigration officer, and former high school teacher, and the founder of the Canadian Immigration Institute, jumping on to let you know about a very special offer that I'm offering right now for a limited period of time. I am giving 60% off my Express Entry Complete Step-by-Step Guide to Doing It Yourself. The offer expires October the 20th, but you know what, guys? I talk about this a little bit for those who are watching the videos that I do, but for those of you who are just new to the site, hang on a second and let me show you what this is. This isn't some stupid hokey video that is going to give you general stuff that you can pull off of the internet. This is so much different. This do-it-yourself guide is me, Mark Holthe, immigration lawyer, actually showing you, demonstrating each section of the Express Entry process with my real client files. Now, obviously, it's with their permission and all of their information is redacted, which takes an enormous amount of time to do, I might add. But it's a demonstration of exactly how you complete everything from your view in your own MyCIC account. Now, with the world that we're dealing with right now of Express Entry, with the tiniest little things that can fall off the rails, that is why I created it. So I want to show you something here, guys. Take a look at this. You can see here that there is this guy on the other side of the desk. Pretend that's me. And then there's these other nice couple on the other side with the guy with his hands on his head and me with my hands open, basically saying, I am sorry, there's nothing I can do to fix this. Well, so many of my consults are like this. People try to do it themselves, and really it's not rocket science, but there's little tiny nuances that if you don't appreciate it, if you don't understand, can result in your application getting returned. And the whole reason that I created this guide was to stop you from being in this situation. People overseas are so quick to hire agents, to hire people who appear to know a little bit more than them. But at the end of the day, it's always you. It always comes back to you. And the people who say, I can't trust an agent, they want all this money, I can't afford it, I'd rather do it myself. Everybody on the internet says it's so easy. Well, I can tell you guys that it is not. And although on the surface it looks like it's just a fill in the blank process, the consequences of making the smallest mistake can make the difference in you basically having your Express Entry application approved, or feeling like this lady right here with a letter, a notification that comes back saying, hey, your application is being returned because of this small, little, insignificant reason. And so to avoid you feeling like this person here, or avoid feeling like these fine couple right here, that's why I created the guide. So what is it? What is this guide, you're probably asking? Well, let me show you, and just give me a few minutes and you'll see, because I poured my heart and soul into this. And if you go to the main website and right at the top, well, at the end of the day, if you go and you click on the link that's in the bottom of the description for this video, it will take you here to this page. And it'll take you there where you can get the full course for $198.80. But if you want to see what this is about, you've got a couple options. So you can go to individual guides right here, and these are all getting built out. Click on Learn More, and then you can click on Purchase the Guide. But on this page right here, it talks about everything, including video testimonials that from past subscribers that have used it. And I don't think there's hardly any of these individuals that are not permanent residents of Canada right now. I think they all are. Anyways, so with all of this, I explain the heartache, I explain why I do it, and you can read it. But I'm going to skip through all of that and I'm going to go straight to as if you've purchased it. So once you've purchased it, you click on your little name right over here. I don't know if you can see me dancing around here. You click on your name, your image, or the image on your screen, and then click on My Library. And then once you're here, this is where you'll be able to see the actual, and I'm going to get rid of these ones here so they're not blocking the screen. This is where you can access the courses that you've purchased. And so you click on View Course, and then it takes you here. Guys, there are over 43 individual pieces to this process. Why? Because some people may not need to know everything there is to know about how to fill out the information for a spouse or a dependent. So I've broken all of those down into little pieces. So module 1 is all about learning the basics. Some of you may know nothing about Express Entry. And so I've created a welcome step-by-step to the step-by-step guide. What is Express Entry? An overview so you understand it, how it works, and then how the comprehensive ranking system works. So that's for people who know very little about it, but maybe you get it. I still recommend you watch it. Then, and we've got a few people that are commenting here while I'm blithering on live here. I better, we've got Gurjeet who says, hey Mark, how are you doing? Always a pleasure to see you here talking to people. You are very, very welcome. Libya says hi. And Libya says, Zohair from Libya, I got a consult of 1 hour before. It was amazing. Thank you. Thanks so much. It's good to see you, Zohair. All right, so back focusing here, you guys. So this is module 1, okay? So module 1 is all about the basics. Then we shift back to module 2. And this is about preparing to submit your Express Entry guide. And understand that I'm talking faster than I can think here. I'm so excited about this. Module 2 is all about preparing to submit your Express Entry profile. And you can see there are 4 lessons here that are all designed to help you to know whether or not it's even worth your time. And the last thing you want to do is spend money on things that you don't need to spend money on because you don't have a prayer of getting through in the first place. And that's what lesson 4 is all about. And then we go to registering for your MyCIC account. We go through the eligibility process. If you're in Canada, and some of you are, many of you are, and also if you're outside of Canada without Canadian work experience. So all of that is before I even dive in. But then we go to module 3. And 3 is all about completing your Express Entry profile. And you can see here that there's more lessons than can fit on one page, but it goes through how to do it for the principal applicant. And then it shifts here. Lesson 15 starts the information for a spouse. And then you go to the next page here. And for your display, you'll see as you're working through the videos, if I click on this one here, submitting your profile, you can see on the right side, you can quickly scroll through all of the videos that relate to module 3. So it's all here in a nice, easy fashion. Okay. So within here, I've got the video that pertains specifically to that section of the Express Entry process. Okay, so then when we go back, you can see module 3 takes us all the way through to the very end, lesson 22, receiving your invitation to apply. But, I almost forgot. Lesson 21 is how to update it. And if you don't update it right, you can think you've done it and you actually haven't. So there's a little tricky little step that you have to do to ensure that you've got it uploaded. So then you get your invitation to apply, and then it's celebration time, really. But one thing I emphasize in the lesson 22 is only step 1. Only the first battle is won. You still have a major part of the war. And that's really what Express Entry is sometimes. It's like a full battle. So if you go back, once you get your ITA, then we get to module 4, which is probably the one that's the most important. And I'll tell you, it took me the longest time to create because I had to use an actual client's information. And you can imagine how long it took me to go frame by frame to redact my client's information so that everything was confidential. And then I was able to build it all out and use this as a teaching tool. And I'm not aware of anything out there on the internet that even remotely comes close to what I've done here. And I did it hundreds and hundreds of hours because I wanted to help you guys. And so, yeah, I could not do this. I could just continue to charge my $5,000 for full representation. But many of you guys overseas just can't afford that. You need those funds for your settling in Canada. And if you're struggling to save enough, if you're an individual application, almost 13,000 Canadian, well, to pay me, even though I think it's still worth it sometimes to actually hire a lawyer if you have the resources to do it, this is the next best thing. And so module 4, starting in lesson 23, goes through every section in the same way. Principal applicant. Then it goes to completing the information for the spouse. And then, because this is the stage when we get to it, information for dependent children. And then the full overview. And you'd think, wow, Mark, that's pretty freaking awesome. Well, it is, but I can tell you that even after all of those 4 modules, the most important part of what I'm offering here isn't even here. It hasn't even been covered yet. And that's because it's all in module 5, uploading your documents and filing your EAPR. And the one lesson of all, and I've actually considered taking it and maybe selling it separately if people are interested in, but lesson 40 right here, this is the one I'm the most proud of, because this is the document checklist. Not only do I talk about each of the sections, talk about the information that that immigration wants to see within your documents, what you need to do to make sure that they're complete, but look at on the right side here. All of these downloads, all of the ECAs for the different organizations, so that you know that what you're doing is the proper thing. A sample gift deed, job offer letters, employer reference letter samples. And I have actual ones that are redacted and templates that you can work from that are in Word format. There are samples of work permits. If you're wondering, oh, this company says they got a work permit for me and a job offer, is this true? Well, I've got samples here so that you're not deceived. I've got examples of marriage certificates. Obviously, they're different for every jurisdiction. Birth certificates, employment records that are used for different types of positions so that you can prove your work history. What you include for proving a sibling relationship in Canada. Police certificates for a number of different countries. Passports, obviously, you know whether your passport is correct or not, but just identifying the important information on your passport that you need for express entry. E-medicals, and like I said, tons of gift deeds and just everything that I could think of that would be helpful for people, and you can download them and have those examples to walk you through the process. So I'll be honest, I'm super, super proud of lesson 40 here. It's one of the best parts of the whole process. But there's more. Document checklist for the spouse, submitting your EAPR. What happens if IRCC comes back and says, hey, I want you to go in and answer this, provide this additional information and upload it? Well, this tells you how to do it. Then now we've got biometrics in lesson 43, and I actually had to call it 43B because this is a late addition to after the guide was created. And then last but not least, the passport request. And so this here, guys, you would think, wow, okay, we've got all of this information. Great, fantastic. But this is not it. Even though I've taken the time to demonstrate all of this, it's still not all of the information that's contained in here. Why? Because if you go down to the very bottom, there is a whole member resource section. And it's hard to try to create something that's easily searchable where you can find information that you need. You guys know that you could go to my YouTube channel right here, and hopefully it's logged into the right one. And if I go to my channel here, you can see that there are videos. There's over 200 videos on different topics, okay? And it is virtually impossible to search through and find all the information, especially on the live Q&A sections when individuals are asking live questions and I'm answering them. The information is all here, but man, trying to find it after all of these, all of these videos that I've posted, some of them you can search through, you can search with the search bar, but this right here, guys, I've tried to take and categorize things so it's easy for you to find information. And it's not just general information. This top one here is one of my best videos on work history, everything you wanted to know and so much more. And so that one there, general information, what is express entry? How does the CRS work? These are a little bit different than the ones in the video. Top 5 reasons you're deemed ineligible, essential documents, why your application's refused. And then we go even further into work experience, language issues, eligibility, job offers, proof of funds, police clearances, dependent family. I even have a separate video for those of you who are wondering whether or not to include your spouse as non-accompanying. And if you do, then this teaches you how to complete just the sections for your spouse who still has some information they must include, but is not actually included as an accompanying dependent within your application. And so I've got that as well. So let's jump back here again and categories, and I'll jump down to member resource section again. I'm just popping around here. So you can see all of these resources, and then there's a whole section on education. And like education, everything you ever wanted to know. These are massively detailed content, okay? Medicals, provincial nomination, how that fits into the general express entry. What happens if you've got other names, relatives in Canada, dependent children, spousal relationships, the programs that participate in express entry, and then refusals. All right. So I hope that you guys can appreciate that I'm so passionate about this because I believe in it. I know what's in there. I've poured all of my Canadian immigration experience, both as an officer and as a lawyer, and I use my teaching talents to do it in a way that you guys understand. Does it take time? Yes, but it will save you massive amounts of time compared to trying to sift through the internet looking for information. It's all here. And how much? Well, I just told you here. If I share my screen once again, you click on the link, the special link, and for a limited time, you can get lifetime access for 60% off the regular price of $497 US. That's $198.80 US for lifetime access to this. Basically all the knowledge that I have about express entry. All right. Okay, now we've got some people are on here, and I want to take just a few minutes to answer a few questions here. So let's see. We have, okay, Imran says hi. No, and understand this is just an impromptu, just pop into the Canadian Immigration Institute Facebook page and do this live. That's how I do this stuff. I'll push this out to YouTube. So all of you YouTube people, I will also put the link in the description in the show, not show notes, that's my podcast. And I also want to let you guys know that I just released a brand new Canadian immigration podcast episode all about express entry. So check that out. And if you're wondering where that is, once again, I'll share my screen. All you have to do is type in Canadian immigration, Canadian immigration podcast.com. And the most recent episode right here, Express Entry, Tips to Avoid Disaster. I just released that one on October the 12th. So go check it out. Super cool. And and let's get back to those people that are here now. Okay, so Libya says, study visa, could I have it through university admission? And could I bring my kids with me to study in school during my study there? Moreover, does it help me to have residency? Yes, Libya, it does. And if you look at some of the videos I have, one is the top 5 ways to increase your comprehensive ranking system score. Well, the way that you do that, if you are ranking too low with your human capital alone, is to consider going to school. But there's no guarantee, right? There's no guarantee you're going to get that study permit. So there are so many other things, Libya, that are related to getting a study permit. And that's why, if I show you here, I'm going to show you my screen again. I'm going to go back to my actual website here, and under individual guides, I want you guys to watch, because right here we've got express entry, complete step-by-step guide to doing it yourself. The very next one that I'm just about to launch is study permits. And so I'm going to be creating, well, I'm just about done and the reason it's taken so long, I talk about it a lot, is because I don't want to release garbage. I want to release something that's actually useful for people. So that's where it's going to be a study permit, do-it-yourself guide. So if you're interested, let me know and I'll notify you the moment it's launched. Okay, and when it comes, Libya, to your second question here about study permits and whether your family can come, technically speaking, yes, if you have a spouse, there is a special work permit that is out there designed to give an open work permit to a spouse who's accompanying a student studying in Canada at a post-secondary institution. But it is not easy getting that either, because the whole time you have to show that you have temporary intent. And if you already have a profile submitted in the express entry pool, that can actually work against you, showing that you intend to go back to your country following issuance of your study permit and completion of your studies. All right, but we'll talk all about that in my study permit DIY guide. All right, Amundsen, is there all Canadian immigration guidelines available? Not quite sure what that question is. This one specifically relates to express entry. And then she says, I have some query. If you answer my query, so now I'll buy. Thanks. Okay, Eamon, this guide covers every aspect that I could think of related to the express entry process. So like I said, it covers all aspects of submitting it yourself right from the beginning all the way through to the end. And when you purchase it, you can go in, you can see everything. And I also want to point out something to you guys. And I'm not sure if it's here, probably. Those of you who are wondering, oh, well, what if I get in there and I don't think it's helpful, or I don't think that it's useful for me? Well, I don't want you guys to waste your money. That's why I have a 100% 30-day money-back guarantee. And I can tell you right now, you can see right here, it says, we're ready to prove everything we claim. Join right now and test it for yourself within the next 30 days. If the guide doesn't live up to your expectations, I will refund your money. And that's 100% money-back guarantee. So there's no risk to trying it, zero, because I will honor it. And there's been times when people have gone on there. My personal favorite, actually, I'll show you guys. My personal favorite one was, let's see if I got the video testimonial. Do I have it? Yes, it was Anush. So Anush here actually sent me an email and said, this is a waste of money. I've used your guide. I want all of my money back because it's basically all the information that's on the government website. And I said, oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that. Did you check out the EAPR section? Did you go through everything? And I said, well, just take another look and just give it a little bit more of a chance. And so she had just been kind of looking at the profile section, and lo and behold, she came back and she said, I want to give you a video testimonial because I totally did not appreciate the content and everything that was in here. And so for Anush, go check out her video testimonial, and it's right on my Canadian Immigration Institute YouTube channel. And right here, it's a long one. so she created one that was really long, that covered just everything that you could imagine about the guide and why she felt and why she was basically wrong. And I better get to the right screen here again. Where is it? Here it is. Yes. And this video number 8, why she was so wrong. So with that being said, guys, if you want any questions about whether or not it's worth it, go check out Anush's video testimonial and watch it. But as always, remember, guys, 100% money back guarantee, which it's easy for me to offer because I can count the number of people that have wanted their money back on one hand. And so, and in many cases, it was either they had other reasons for it, but it didn't matter to me. I gave them their money back. Just like anyone who if any of my clients ever feel like they're not getting value, I give them their money back. All right. Okay, guys. Well, that's kind of a little bit of the overview. We've got just a few more, looks like people posting a few more questions here. So I'll answer these before I close off. Ananda says, hi, I have 460 CRS. Awesome. That's fantastic. Will I get an ITA coming Wednesday? That's a tough one. We will have to see. I'm not the most spectacular prognosticator of prognosticators. So I think you've got a shot at it. I think you've got a shot. She said that if I amend my profile as unaccompanying spouse and kid, my CRS comes to 464. I want to emphasize that it's just your spouse is non-accompanying, not your kids. They don't impact your score at all. What we suggest me, if I amend, create my profile as unaccompanying, will I get penalized by IRCC? No, you will not get penalized by IRCC. They're the ones who set up the stupid program the way it is. They're the ones who are punishing spouses and married couples. And so no, they're not. And if they attempt to punish you for listing your spouse as non-accompanying, well, then we're going to sue them in federal court because I hate it. It's not fair. I think it's prejudicial. I think it's almost, it's just prejudicial to couples. And so there are ways that you can obviously, you want to be able to explain why you're listing your spouse as non-accompanying. And in my guide, I often will, in the one video that I have specifically for listing a spouse as non-accompanying, that's exactly what I include. And then you indicate how long will it take to get PR for my spouse and kids? Well, Anandya, that's exactly the issue. It could take over a year for you to get permanent residence for your spouse, but ironically, you can still list your kids within the application and have them come with you while you're submitting your initial EAPR. Okay, I'll answer just a couple more questions and then I have to hightail it back to my house because I'm going to my brother's for Thanksgiving and I am so excited to spend this wonderful day with all of my family. So let's see. Casey says, I want to know if I'm qualified for express entry as an immigration lawyer in Nigeria. Casey, purchase a subscription to the guide. Every person's individual process is different. And you've got, with the guide, you purchase it for $198.80 US. And I actually explain to you how to determine yourself if you qualify. Okay. And then engineer Majid says, I want to come to Canada. How is the process, sir? Tell me. Majid, purchase, go into the link right in the description here of this video and click on it, and it will take you where you can get all the information you need at 60% off the regular price for only $198.80 USD. All right, guys, I'm going to end this now, but I want to thank you so much for all of your support. It's actually the guide that helps me. The money that I earn from the guide helps me to be able to do all of the free stuff that I do. And I don't earn a lot from it, but it does help to compensate for all of the time I do producing all of, if I flip back here, all of these. So, and understand, I am a one-hit wonder. So I create everything. And I want to give a shout out to Garibaldi, to Nasarji, who provided this amazing picture of Garibaldi Lake near Squamish, BC, and to all of you other wonderful, wonderful members of my Express Entry Law private Facebook group. Obviously, right here on the Canadian Institute family here on our Facebook page. And I've been doing so much talking, trying not to hiccup here. And all of you out there on the YouTube channel with the Canadian Immigration Institute, I want to thank all of you guys for your support. You're awesome. And this is just one way that I can give back. All right. Thanks so much for being such good followers, good supporters. Yuri says, hi, Mark, hope all is well. I've submitted the updates in regards to my profile, new residential address, new employment through the web form. However, I've not heard from them. It's been more than a month. If that is okay, or should I resubmit my request? It can take time, but you should have by this stage received something. Usually you do, Yuri. All right. Thanks, guys. I wish you all the best, especially this wonderful Thanksgiving weekend. Take care. Mark Holthe signing off, wishing you all the best as you navigate this crazy world we call Express Entry. See you later.